When the Titanic sank on April 15, 1912, many tales were left untold, many stories were left incomplete, and one such story is of Leo. The sinking of Titanic, one of the most tragic and captivating events in maritime history, has been a subject of intrigue and speculation for well over a century. This colossal ship, dubbed unsinkable, met a fate as grand and tragic as its stature. But today, we're not here to retell the tale of the Titanic. Instead, we venture into the lesser-known depths of this story, into the life of a third-class passenger named Leo. Leo, a man of humble beginnings, boarded the Titanic with dreams as vast as the ocean itself. Like many others, he saw the majestic vessel as a beacon of hope, a ticket to a new life. But little did he know the fateful journey that awaited him. The sinking of the Titanic wasn't just a monumental disaster. It was a cataclysm of personal tragedies, of dreams submerged and futures erased. And among the countless tales of sorrow and survival, Leo's story remains shrouded in mystery. The Titanic was a floating microcosm of the early 20th century society, a world of its own. First-class passengers enjoyed the grandeur and luxury, while third-class passengers like Leo experienced a different journey. Yet when disaster struck, the sea didn't discriminate. The rich and the poor, the nobles and the commoners, they all faced the same icy waters, the same chilling fate. Leo's story is not just about the sinking of the Titanic. It's a tale of hope, of dreams, of courage in the face of the unimaginable. It's about the human spirit that refuses to sink, even when the unsinkable does. Today, we unravel the untold story of Leo, a third-class passenger on Titanic, whose fate remained a mystery for over a century. This is a journey into the unknown, a dive into the depths of the past, to bring to light a story that has been hidden beneath the waves for far too long. Leo, an ordinary man with an extraordinary tale, boarded the Titanic with hopes and dreams. Born in the heart of England, Leo grew up with a fascination for the New World. The United States, a land of endless opportunity, was his dream destination. Driven by ambition and the desire for a better life, he saved every penny from his modest job as a carpenter to afford the voyage. Leo was a man of simple pleasures, a kind soul who believed in hard work and the power of dreams. He loved the smell of freshly cut wood and the satisfaction of creating something with his own hands. His passion for carpentry was not just about earning a livelihood, it was his way of leaving a mark on the world. It was in the early spring of 1912 when Leo saw his chance. The Titanic, a marvel of engineering, was set to sail from Southampton to New York. This was more than just a journey across the Atlantic. It was a voyage to a new life. For Leo, the Titanic was not just a ship. It was his ticket to the American dream. But Leo was not just boarding the Titanic for his dreams. He had another reason, a secret reason. He was in love. Her name was Clara, a beautiful young woman who had moved to America a year earlier. Leo had been smitten by Clara's charm and wit, and he longed to be reunited with her. The Titanic was his chance, his opportunity to start a new life with the woman he loved. As Leo stepped onto the Titanic, he was filled with a sense of awe and anticipation. His heart was brimming with dreams of a prosperous life in America and the prospect of being with Clara. He was not just another passenger. He was a man on a mission, a man with a dream. As the Titanic sailed, so did Leo's hopes, unaware of the impending doom. The night of April 14, 1912, started as a celebration, but ended in a catastrophe. Leo, like others, was caught in the midst of it. As the sun set and the moon rose over the Atlantic, the Titanic, an emblem of human ambition, was sailing smoothly. The passengers, including our protagonist Leo, were in high spirits, unaware of the looming disaster. On this fateful night, the air was filled with the sound of laughter, music, and clinking of glasses. The grandeur of the Titanic was on full display, with its opulent interiors and elite passengers. But beneath this veil of luxury, the third-class passengers, including Leo, were nestled in the ship's bowels, far from the pomp and show. As the clock struck midnight, the festive atmosphere was shattered by a jarring jolt. Chaos ensued. The ship had struck an iceberg, the silent predator lurking in the darkness of the open sea. The Titanic, dubbed unsinkable, was now gradually sinking. Panic gripped everyone, but for third-class passengers like Leo, the situation was dire. The location of their cabins, deep within the ship, made escape a Herculean task. The labyrinth of corridors and staircases, coupled with the rising water, created an ominous obstacle course. As the water level surged, so did the fear and confusion. The ship, which was a symbol of luxury and comfort, had transformed into a death trap. The realization that there were not enough lifeboats added another layer of dread to the already terrifying scenario. Leo, like many others, was trapped. The grand staircase, which symbolized opulence and grandeur, was now a beacon of hope, a path to survival. But reaching it was no easy feat. The corridors were quickly flooding, and the freezing water was a ruthless adversary. The sinking of the Titanic was not just a disaster. It was a fight for survival. Class boundaries vanished in the face of death, and the fight for life became a great equalizer. Leo, trapped in the labyrinth of third-class corridors, was faced with a fight for survival. The night of celebration had indeed turned into a night of catastrophe, a night that would forever be etched in history as a testament to human vulnerability and courage. As the icy waters filled the Titanic, Leo's fight for survival began. From the heart of the ship, in the belly of the beast, Leo found himself trapped in the lower decks, a place few would venture and fewer would escape from, especially with the ship rapidly taking on water. In the midst of chaos, where the thunderous roar of water and the desperate cries of people echoed off the metallic walls, Leo's survival instinct kicked in. With his heart pounding like a hammer against an anvil, he began his perilous journey towards the upper decks. The way was a labyrinth of corridors and staircases, each one a potential death trap as the ship continued to list dangerously. Leo was not a man of physical strength. His power lay in his wit and determination. He navigated through the labyrinth, avoiding obstacles and making split-second decisions that determined his survival. As he climbed, the ship groaned and shuddered under the weight of the sea, a chilling reminder of the race against time he was in. Finally, after what seemed like an eternity, Leo emerged onto the deck. The sight that greeted him was one of utter chaos and despair. Lifeboats were being launched, filled to the brim with terrified passengers. The air was filled with the cries of the doomed, those left behind on the sinking ship. Yet, amidst the chaos, Leo remained focused. He knew he had to get on one of those lifeboats. A daunting challenge lay ahead. The lifeboats were few, and the desperate crowd was many. It was a grim lottery of life and death. With a dash of luck and a lot of grit, Leo managed to find a spot on one of the lifeboats. As the lifeboat was lowered, he could only watch as the Titanic, the ship of dreams, was swallowed by the icy abyss. Against all odds, Leo found himself on a lifeboat, drifting in the icy waters of the Atlantic. Surviving the Titanic's sinking was only half the battle. The real struggle was surviving the aftermath. Imagine, if you will, the immense relief of finding a place on one of the lifeboats, only to be met with the harsh reality of the freezing Atlantic. For Leo, this was the beginning of a new chapter of survival. In the lifeboat, he huddled with other survivors, their collective body heat the only defense against the bone-chilling cold. They waited, enduring hours of uncertainty, until finally, the Carpathia, a ship responding to the Titanic's distress calls, arrived. Leo and the other survivors were pulled aboard, their faces pale and eyes wide with the horrors they had witnessed. But for Leo, rescue was just the beginning of a long journey. He had survived the Titanic, but the scars of that night ran deep. He had lost friends, seen the worst of humanity, and faced his own mortality. In the years that followed, Leo found strength in his survival. He carried the memory of the Titanic with him, not as a weight, but as a reminder of his resilience. He became an advocate for maritime safety, using his experience to push for stricter regulations and better safety measures. Leo's life was shaped by the Titanic in unexpected ways. He formed close bonds with other survivors, their shared experience creating a unique connection. He found love again, and he found purpose in his advocacy. The Titanic was a tragedy, but for Leo and many others, it was also a catalyst for change. It forced them to confront their fears, to fight for survival, and to find strength in the face of adversity. Leo's untold story, a testament to human resilience, reminds us that every passenger on the Titanic had a story, many of which remain untold to this day.